Hi, everybody. This is Kimberly Shipley, and I want to share with you a journey of driving as a single mom of going from Florida, or from Kentucky, that is, to Florida and back. I went to Orlando, Florida, and also a trip to the Smoky Mountains. But mostly this will be talking about to Florida. But I've done this all in the last month, and this is my adventures. It's empowerment. That I have for example, a Nissan Versa. It's a 2025 model. I bought it brand new. So it only gets 40 miles to the gallon. So yes, that's very cheap on gas on, the interstate. So that part is very big blessing for me and my son. Of course, my husband, he passed away. I'm a widow. That happened on Christmas Eve, if you don't know, if you're new to my channel. So for me and my son, that's been devastating. He lost his dad, I lost my husband. So now it's just us. And, we still want to get out and, have fun, do adventures and travel. So I wanted to get on here and share, our adventures now is just a mom and son and traveling with a child. So, the motor, also I want to say on here, I've had somebody ask, it's not a loud motor, it's very silent. It's a very comfortable car to ride in. So I really give credit on my car. The Nissan Versa is wonderful. It's the one that has the actual trunk in it and four-door, and I enjoy it so much. Great air conditioning, but a very enjoyable ride. So, I do, if you're in the market for a car and you don't mind a small car, recommend the Nissan Versa. They're very great on gas if that's something you're looking for. And great to travel with. I love traveling on the interstate with it. And so just kind of wanted to share that part. But here, let me start our journey on, this is going to be 3 things in this journey. 3 things that I want to give a little advice I noticed on traveling as a single mom. And so, hey, again, thank you everybody for joining me. So, number 1, and this is the first thing I want to talk about in this, that I just wanted to just sit here and embrace, 3 things of travel. And, in these 3 things of traveling, I do want you to know this is just something I experienced. You may find something different about it. And so this is just my point of view I wanted to share with others. And I want to start sharing a little bit of tips and things. So, hey, yeah. Let's be on this journey together here. And let me give you the little advice I have learned now from starting to travel now in a car with my child. Okay, so let's get to the point here. Number one on my journey of being a single mom, a solo mom traveling in a car alone. And this is just, again, my experience. So for being the number 1 top priority thing is, one thing is safety. That was my biggest concern, how I can make things safe in preparation, safe traveling. So, I'm going to use, again, as my Orlando trip to give these, where we went to Disney World and Legoland, and to give these tips of traveling just on that one adventure. And again, I've also now been to the Smoky Mountains and stuff. So just kind of giving the tips of right now where we went to Disney World and Legoland, since that was the farthest. It was about a total of 15 hours one way. So I was a very exhausted mama from coming from Kentucky. And I live close to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and everybody knows where Orlando, Florida is. If you've made any plans, to go to Disney World. But anyway, yeah, it was a very long trip, and these tips is just something I want to kind of give out to let you know the enjoyment you can have as well. Because it can be very overpowering. As a mom traveling, you can get overwhelmed easy. And one of my biggest advices: stay on the interstate as much as you can. Don't get off on side roads as much as you can keep from it, because I recommend to stay on main roads. Safety concerns. That's one tip. And again, I know sometimes you do have to get off on side roads and things, but try to stay on as much as you can on the interstate and get off places on the interstate. And again, that's more safety concern. And, this is just one thing. I wanted to be able to get on there for the safety concerns of it. And, driving with my child, it was hard. But anyway, first, again, it was a lot of safety concerns. So yeah, stay on the interstate. Again, I done a 15-hour road trip one way. So counting both and back, it was 30 hours. And, being a single mom and going that long, especially driving, like I said, 15 hours by yourself. This is the first time I'd ever done it. And I thought, I want to do this. I want to learn how to do it, being a woman that's never done that. It does require extra planning, safety precautions. Like I said, that's one of the number one key tips I want to give out. It also includes pre-booking, pre-planning, pre-booking your hotels, packing light. I'd suggest don't overpack, but pack what you need. Your child's electronics, their clothes, swimming trunks. Pack what you need, but don't overdo it. But also be prepared for unexpected situations. That's also crucial too. To balance, everything, planned out, balance your activities. Also, anything spontaneous, fun, ensuring that everything's, you've got everything covered like that you and your children has a wonderful, trip on this journey that you're going to take. And also too, I have AAA. That's another important thing for a single mom. Again, as a single mom, I think that's one of the most wonderful thing. I understand the challenge, that we all have about being a single mom, and going to learn how to travel. But AAA, making sure you have your spare tire in your car. Keep your gas filled up more than you keep it half line to full versus half to empty. And, balancing, your parenthood, balancing and getting from just point A to point B. It also represents, freedom. Our freedom out there as women, single moms, the empowerment of being, free in this book just to get out and travel. It's like this right here. Is a part of my journey, of being a single mom. It was adventure. It was be able to know I can get out and do it. That as a woman, I can do it. Even though now I don't have a man in my life other than my little boy, he's 8 years old. And, but more women, especially, single moms, we can do this. We're taking the, to the road. as a single mom, whether it's even for work, family, or even, pleasure. Just to have a leisure time out, go to the beach or whatever. Solo driving, it does offer us a unique avenue to explore and be independent. Our independence is wonderful. Having an independence adventure, us as women, we need to be independent. And that's something that sometimes it takes a long time for us to learn. It was for me. And, I don't know if y'all remember this quote from National Lampoon's Chevy Chase said, but a road trip, it's not about the destination. It's basically about the fun of getting there. And, whether you need to take, let's say, drive an hour and stop, take 15 minutes, do it. Do whatever you need to do. If I remember once I had to even lay my head down for an hour on that 15-hour road trip. If it's something you feel like you need to do, you do that. Do what you need to do to get there safely. Again, as Chevy Chase said, it's not about the destination, but it's about getting there. And even though sometimes it can be wild, crazy, and, it may not be going exactly how you planned it. It didn't go how the National Lampoons, that family planned it. As you remember, if you watched the 1980, whatever year it was version, that, they had a plan for it to go great, and then it ended up going crazy and all that. And definitely the destination went crazy, if you remember the movie. Great movie, though. I love it. But anyway, remember, it's about your adventure getting there. It's not necessarily about the destination. So being a single mom, take your time. And, this is my advice from one single mom to other ones out there. Take your time. It's your journey. This was my journey, and, I just wanted to give a little bit about my journey. Okay, and, a number 2 travel tip. I've kind of said it all already, but my number 2 travel tip, my number 2 travel tip is one thing prepared with gas. Always keep your gas tank from the half mark to full if you can. I always feel like you use more gas if you go from halfway full to empty. So that's travel tip number 2 for me. And travel tip number 3, keep kids' activities. Keep your child active in the car and on the destination once you get there. That's top priority, because it can be strenuous on single moms, to keep the kids busy. And there's only one of us to do it. No matter how many kids you have, if you have one child or 5 kids with you. And, again, keep them where they're doing something. My child may like something different than your child. Keep an activity with them, something they enjoy. You can always do I Spy the Car color, for younger children. You can also do, hey, read license plate. What state's that one from? If they're a little older. So, there's different activities to be silly on car rides. Of course, there's the children's tablets. That always keeps them entertained. You want to be able to do things once.
Amazon even makes tablets for kids, and they're called like the Fire Kids tablets.
Oh, my son said Amazon makes tablets for kids called Fire tablets. It's on Amazon. It's kids' tablets.
By Amazon, and there's this Android tablet. I have a Fire 7 from 2019.
He's given a recommendation and shout out, I guess, for Amazon. But Anyway,
Mine's on Android.
also, I just wanted to let you know too, you know, again, the third thing also too is safety. Safety is a big concern. Watch your surroundings. Put your, your belongings stuff. If you have a trunk in your car, put those in the trunk. Safety is very important. Go to well lit areas. If you pull up at a rest area and only one car's there and there's no security guard, don't stop. If you have to travel at night, make sure there's plenty of people, security guard there, or you go to a well lit place. Even if it's more of a convenience store, go to a well lit one, even if it's in the middle of the night. Women, I suggest not travel in the middle of the night. I have done it. I did do it. It is harder to find places open. Buc-ee's was one I found open that I did stop at in the middle of the night going to Florida. It was the one, I think that one's considered in Georgia. Well, actually, there's two in Georgia passing going. But I did find it harder going through Atlanta at night. I mean, it was kind of easy to get through, but the reason I catch it harder is because of just safety concerns. Being a big town late at night, that concerns me. You know, if something happened, like if something happened in Atlanta, that, if I needed to call AAA, my car broke down, anything, that concerned me. But anyway, that was my 3 tips for traveling solo with a child in a car. Hey, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you.